sir. Good
Very
morning, all
good
of you.
morning. Thank you. Thank you. Been told let's wait for a few more minutes. I apologize. So I'm going to wait until what time is it now? 9:25 to start. 3 minutes more. While we wait, I'm happy to entertain questions or comments. No questions, no comments?
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Okay, was it Chandrika?
Yeah, sir. My question is related to ABS, sir. Anti-lock braking system, sir.
Okay.
So what kind of, actually in India in 2019, it was mandatory to implement the ABS system in two-wheelers.
Okay.
Earlier it was more than 150cc engines. Now it has come to 110cc like that.
Okay.
So what kind of the collision, sir, it prevents basically in those vehicles means below 150cc, those who are implementing, because there is no such kind of more studies in Indian context. So what kind of collision like other continent actually it is preventing? So I would like to know some.
Thank you, Chandrika Verma. It's a good question. I don't have an answer. That's not something that I have studied. And in the United States, as I mentioned earlier over the last several days, motorized two-wheelers or even bicycle usage accounts for a very, very, very small proportion of travel, less than 3% in total, maybe 2%. And I'm not aware of any studies that have been done about this. I know for four-wheelers and more, I can tell you things, but for two-wheelers, I'm sorry, I don't. One source that you could go look for is the Transportation Research Board. So the T for transportation, R for research, B for board, trb.org. If you want to do find any reference that is related to transportation, that is perhaps the best source to go. Go to trb.org, and then within trb.org you will see at the top there is several items on a banner, links. Click on the link that says I think resources and databases, or databases and resources, something of that sort, and within that select TRID, Transportation Research Information Database. What was that, Shointon?
So actually regarding this, I think I have a little bit of answer to his question. Sir, basically ABS is anti-locking braking system. So in the non-ABS system or IBS system, if we apply the brake, it will lock the both of the wheel or the front wheel of the bike. So there is more approach to the skidding of the bike. If we apply the brake with more pressure, it will lock the wheel and it will skid the bike. And in ABS, what is it will do? It will just like, this is the wheel, if you consider this as wheel, and this is the braking braking pad. It will just not locking it, it will just applying like this.
Yes.
If you can see it in my hand. So it will just slow down the vehicle in lesser time and it will prevent the skidding. So
yes,
this is the main concept of ABS.
Excellent, Das. And so that is, you're describing the mechanics. So I think what Chandrika Verma wanted to know was, have there been studies that looked at how effective it is, how safe it is, or what are unintended consequences? So I don't have references. So please look at the trb.org and go to TRID, TRID, and if you they give you a lot of options to search, and you will find any relevant reference. You can search by keyword, you can lock it down to a geographic area, India or a continent, so on, or type the keywords. Many of them you will be at least able to see the abstract and who the authors are. Some of these articles, if they are copyrighted by a journal, for example Elsevier Press or Taylor and Francis, unless your organization subscribes to that, you may not be able to get access to that manuscript. So I'm sorry I don't have more details for you.
Thank you, sir, for yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. The other thing that what Shanthan Das also said is it prevents the skidding, but what happens in two-wheelers is if you apply the brakes to the front wheel and you just jam your brakes without the anti-lock brake, you could have what is called a cartwheeling effect. The back wheel is still carrying the momentum and moving, and so you could flip over. All right. Any other questions, comments? So in the next approximately 70 minutes, 75 minutes, up to 10:45 is what I am aiming for. I wanted to give you some examples to tie together a lot of the concepts that we have seen, and specifically the first few slides are just traditional crash data analysis, but subsequently I will show you the use of emerging tools and technologies, data sources. But before that, I want you to think about this following question. I will come to you with this question later on. It is an individual exercise, not a team exercise. So I will call on anybody and you have to be ready to answer. It will be after 1 hour, it is not going to be here, after the chai break. Those of you who are here, chai break. Those of you who are not here, sorry once again, I don't have the technology to just beam it out to you from here to there. Okay. So the question is, identify where on planet Earth you have lived the longest that you can remember. So maybe after 5 years of age. Town, city, village, district. So think about where you have spent the most time in your life. In that area, from your experiences, I want you to base your experiences, your observations, what people may have told you, what you have seen, not what you have done in research. What are 3 most challenging or serious road safety issues that come to your mind? So we will start the tutorial session with this, and I will call on everybody. What are the 3 most critical road safety issues in the place where you have lived the longest that you can remember? So, and I usually tell before 5 years of age, memory is not as good, but after that, maybe when you started going to first grade, first standard or so. And I will tie that to a few other things that we have been doing in the class, or I will make you tie it to that. Is that a deal? Does anybody have an objection to this?
No, sir.
Okay. I want you to own this. All right. So I am just going to, here are the standard objectives. Many of these are building on what we have seen, but the big part is what I have in number 5 and number 6, applying it to real world situations, the theory that we have seen, and how do we use that. I realize almost everything that I am going to show is from the United States and from where I live for the most part, the metro area of Las Vegas, but there are some others. I think I have one thing from Dubai. You need to think about how that might be applicable to India. So the implementation case studies, I started with this yesterday. One simple thing, I don't have any graphics on this, has to do with urban intersection, safety at an urban intersection. We are trying to link data from traffic signals, video analytics, crash data, what we have seen, and traffic volumes. The video analytics, I will show it to you later after about 10 minutes or 15 minutes, some examples. But here I am just telling you how we put these together. And the specific metric we looked at is time to collision. If you had 2 conflicting trajectories, if the 2 had continued along their paths without a change in speed or in their speed profile, some of them may have been accelerating or even decelerating, how much time might have elapsed before an actual collision would have occurred? And then they take some abrupt maneuvers, such as we talked about. Normal braking is about 0.3 G, maybe 0.4 G under emergency, 0.5 G under emergency, if they go to much greater than that. So that's the time to collision. So these are great indicators of not crashes, but the potential crashes. So if you see that same thing over and over and over again at one particular location, what that means is there are some issues either related to the posted speed limit, maybe to the sight lines or sight distances, or maybe to the traffic signal timing, or maybe to the signage leading up to that particular location. So what it resulted in was retiming the traffic signal to reduce conflicts, including maybe having protected left turn for us, protected right turn instead of right turn on permissive. So this is an example that was done in Toronto under the MOVE project, and they did this at 22 intersections, signalized intersections, and they report that they reduced conflicts by 17%. That's substantial. Ritvik, did you have a question? No. So the next one was a corridor, not a specific location. In the United States, we have a lot more adverse weather for about at least 50% of the geographic area of the United States, where in the winter we have ice and snow, and in some other areas we have very dense fog. Rain is there, but it's not as big a hazard for the most part. So tying weather data from sensors, and I'll talk to you about where the sensors are, relating that to the pavement condition, basically the friction that you are able to generate, the braking forces that you will be able to generate based upon the pavement conditions, monitoring the speeds of vehicles, and looking at historical information on crash. When we had these kinds of conditions, it ended up in such and such crashes. So now when we monitor real time, can we provide feedback or roadside information, variable message signs, so on. So the theoretical approach was a base, empirical base, so if this then that type, and so the outcomes were variable speed limits. So you can change the speed limit at any one location if you have an electronic board. It's not a painted sign. Electronic board you can control remotely. How do you get the weather data and pavement condition data? So there are lots of companies who do this. One example, is there anybody who has not heard about the Michelin tire company? Michelin tire. Is there anybody who has not heard? Raise your hands. Okay. Left hand, the other left hand. Daniel, you have heard of Michelin. Good. Online, if you have not heard about Michelin, please raise your hand. Tushar, okay. So they are one of, I shouldn't say the largest, one of the large tire manufacturing companies, and many of their tires usually are on higher end motor vehicles. But nowadays they've made it into even medium cost vehicles. So they've been in this business for many, many years in terms of selling tires. But over the last decade or more, they've also started getting data from their tires. I work with Michelin Tire Company on some research initiatives, trying to collaborate with them. We still don't have that. I don't have any personal shares or stock in Michelin, so I'm not trying to promote them. So they get location, time, then speed, acceleration, things that we talked about. But because they have technologies that will measure the traction that the tire has with the pavement, they can figure out whether it's the skidding or not as much friction being generated. So when, where, what, and they can tie it to environmental conditions there. So now you got tying weather and road surface conditions. Other weather data in the United States, the state PWD, Public Work Department, or the Department of Transportation, particularly where we have very harsh winter conditions, they have sensors all over. When I say all over, probably every 3 mile, 5 mile, 10 mile, depends upon it. If it is hilly terrain, they may have it more closely spaced. And that measures not just temperature, wind speed, humidity, pavement temperature. They have sensors embedded in the pavement that measures, because the air temperature could be quite different from the pavement temperature. And combined with precipitation, rain or snow, you could have some very hazardous conditions. They detect that and use radios. For example, in the US, it is fairly common to still have AM radios for road weather information or road traffic condition information, broadcast it over that. But we can also do variable message signs. And nowadays, many agencies have smart apps. If you download their app, you can get travel conditions, travel speeds, traffic volumes, construction zones, so on and so forth. So they can use that to push information and geofence. They don't have to push it to everybody, only people who might be affected in that area. So you can be selective, because if you keep broadcasting messages that are irrelevant, the users will soon start saying, that's one more boring message. Whereas if it is something that pertains to them, I need to pay attention. So that's another example. So now I'll go to a very traditional project. This is something that we are working on right now in Las Vegas. And there we have in the US over the last 5+ years, bless you. We say bless you when somebody sneezes. In my village we say something else, yeah. So complete streets. The concept of complete streets is to plan, design, construct and operate roadways that serve all road users. Over the last 60-70 years, from the 1950s, late 50s on until about a decade ago, much of the emphasis has been on motorized vehicles, 4-wheel vehicles or more, buses, trucks. So the vulnerable road users such as pedestrians, bicyclists, those who may have mobility impairments. Let me make sure I turn off my phone. Thank you. Mobility impairments may not have as good an opportunity to move on these roads. What are examples? Don't have proper sidewalks or footpaths, as we call them here. Or you have a footpath that is maybe 1.5 meters wide, that will very good to move a wheelchair. But because you have this electric pole or telephone pole right in the middle, all of a sudden it becomes impassable for the wheelchair person, right? That's a very simple example. Or when you have footpath to road, they have to cross. You don't have a curb that the wheelchair bound person can get from the footpath onto the road, or the gradient of the transition from the footpath to the street is too steep. So that's the concept of complete streets, is plan, design, construct and operate streets for all users. So in this particular, so this is a map of some areas around Las Vegas, just to give you a sense. Here's the main airport for Las Vegas, and here's the university where I work is here, UNLV, and here is where you might have seen photos or videos of what is called the Las Vegas Strip, the corridor where we have huge hotels, entertainment facilities, so on. So here are some major, Las Vegas has a very nice rectangular grid network where the major streets, the major arterials, remember I talked to you about the functional class, are 1 mile apart. That has to do with going back more than 150 years to the survey. Survey said those were section lines, if you know surveying terminology. So that's every 1 mile here. So we have a major arterial every mile, and these are the roads on which our public transport, the bus network operates. There are some that operate on the minor streets, but the subarterial half mile, but most are on this 1 mile. So what we are doing is comparing several road corridors to transform them from what they are now to what might be a complete street. But they don't have the money to develop all of them. So they wanted us to come up with a methodology to compare what the benefits are of. Like you asked me yesterday, Ritvik, how do you use the benefit cost and the VSL? So one of the things, angles we are looking at is safety. The others I'm working with colleagues in economics and land development to look at how much retail space is there, how much residential space, what is the density, is it a high-rise residential versus single home, the villa type, because each of those has different tendencies to generate pedestrian and bicycle trips. The roads are already designed for the cars, trucks and buses, but what we want to do is improve them to better serve the vulnerable road users. So we looked at several things, is these corridors, and put what you see here are buffers. I'll show you more details in the next one. Next slide. And we designed a half a mile buffer and 1 mile buffer. This is the maximum extent that somebody is likely going to. If you have bus routes on two major arterials that are 1 mile apart, on average a person is only going to walk half mile, right? So we are trying to figure out how many people are within the walking distance of these corridors. Then we looked at the location of bus stops. I showed you an example 2 days ago, 3 days ago at each intersection. Where are the bus stops located? Where is the farthest bus stop? And then for each bus stop, we know how many people are getting on the bus, how many people are getting off the bus. So that gives us a measure for activity, exposure. People who are getting on and off the bus are walking. Some of them may have to cross the street, some of them may not have to cross the street, but all of them need to use the footpath, sidewalk. So that's trying to get an indication of the measure of demand. So that's one metric. The other metric we are looking at are crashes and outcomes of crashes. So what you see here are several corridors. So this is called Maryland Parkway. This is Sahara, and the next slide I'll show you more of Sahara. Charleston Avenue. So you see we have some north-south corridors, east-west corridors, and the colors of the dots. For each corridor we have the color of the dot represents a crash in that. And I'm not telling you on this slide whether that was a K, A, B, C, what the outcome was, but just to visualize how many crashes are there. Then here were two buffers that we looked at, the extent, so Sahara Avenue from here to here, and they said no, extend Sahara Avenue further. So just by using tools that we have in GIS, we use ArcGIS Pro, you are able to buffer and then come up with how many crashes are within this buffer zone. Then we further dissect it into K, A, B, C, O. The next thing we are looking at is, okay, how many of these crashes involve pedestrians or bicyclists? If we were to improve the infrastructure for pedestrians and bicyclists, we likely will reduce those outcomes. So then we can go to the crash modification factors or crash reduction factors, what we talked about yesterday, day before yesterday, to say, okay, if we made this improvement, maybe we will reduce it by 8%. So if we had 10 crashes over the last 5 years, we will reduce it by 1 crash maybe. And how did we summarize the data? There are 2 ways I wanted to show you. On this, on the x-axis are the corridors that we are evaluating, the one that I showed you on the first map, several north-south, some east-west. And for each corridor, just please follow me on the screen. I'm going to pick this one, Maryland Parkway. That is the street, the major street just on one side of the university. And it's a very heavily used public transit route, one of the most busy outside of the resort corridor. It carries the highest one of the highest passenger ridership. And one side is university, the other side you have eating restaurants, small, a lot of things that will attract foot traffic between the university and across that. But as it is presently built and operated, it has 3 lanes of traffic in each direction. Very little for pedestrian accommodation. So that is being totally redone. So here, the bottom blue are pedestrian K-type crashes, fatalities. The next red is A-type, how many pedestrians were injured, serious injuries, A-type. The next green is non-motorist, non-pedestrian. So this could be bicyclist, two-wheeler, wheelchair-bound person. So the number of people killed, and 5, the purple is those who suffered serious injuries. And the top 2 bars, the lighter blue, is for motor vehicle occupants who are killed, and the orange is motor vehicle occupants who sustained A-type injuries. So here is a count. So when I look at it across the board, very quickly, just in 5 years, 2019 to 2023, you are looking at 90 plus crashes on this short segment of the about 4 kilometers, 4.5 kilometers, less than 3 miles. We had, if you look at total, over 90 crashes of K or A type. And if I look at pedestrians, I have 15 pedestrians who were killed. So, same way you can look at it. So, now by looking at it very quickly, you can see which corridor had a higher number of pedestrian fatalities, total injuries, and our interest is mostly the K and A type to pedestrians and non-motorized users. So, the top two parts of this bar is not particularly relevant when you are trying to design, identify what are the needs for the non-motorized users. Another way to present this, as I have told you, is to look at it as proportion. So, each bar is 100% here, but what percent of those are the K plus A for pedestrians, bicyclists here. So, if you look at it, just ignore the top blue and orange. So, you can see that it varies from about 60%, 65% here to the low of about 50%. So, if we can, now the question is they do not have money to build all of this, so they need to prioritize. The trade off will be, do you take the count of crashes, now a frequency, total number of crashes, or do you take the percentage, or how do you weight the two together? So, this is a very simple practical application of the data. Nipjyoti. Of the copyright and data use restrictions that I have. Thank you. Any questions, observations for people online? No? I'm sorry? Handy? Please use the microphone.
No, we understood that mobile data was also helpful in generating these figures. Which data are we talking about?
They have the location, speed, acceleration, time, everything. So, it is not that it is your mobile phone or his mobile phone or her mobile phone. They have hundreds of mobile phones that are going through that, and they are able to discern who is going straight, who is going left, who is going through.
So, in a way they are able to scan the devices.
Yeah, I do not know enough about the technology, it is their patented technology. I am excited that I am getting data that I can use. From what they tell me, it is primarily based upon mobile phone, but I will show you some other examples where we have sensors all around the intersection and cameras. So, the previous set of videos I showed you, Dirk, they use the camera feeds and then they use computer vision tools and techniques to figure out, is that a person walking, wheelchair, bicycle, so on and so forth. They can even tell whether it is an adult or a child, and they can extract the data for you for a price. They are in the business to make money. All right. So, here is another example of an ongoing project that I have with two collaborators. Brendan Morris is an electrical engineer and computer engineer. He specializes in computer vision and so on. So, some of the work that I showed you earlier also is based on collaboration with Professor Morris. Paul O, he is a professor in mechanical engineering who does a lot of work with robotics, okay, and drones, so on. And Bayu Lin is a computer science faculty member. So, you can see how the team has people from multiple disciplines who can bring their experience, their expertise to bring up. So, what we have got is, we are fortunate that we have funding from an agency called the National Science Foundation. It is a very prestigious funding agency, very challenging to get funding from them. And so, what we have is, we are developing a real world lab. I showed you a map of where Las Vegas is with respect to the airport. I showed you Maryland Parkway. So, we are instrumenting intersections in the near vicinity of the university on roads that bound the university and a few that are close by. And the goal is, we do not know when, but to try to facilitate transition to a completely autonomous driving environment. So, how do we use sensor systems to do that? And we are also trying to capture and emulate or identify road user behavior. Not as much the drivers in vehicles, but are people outside the vehicles. That is a bigger concern for us. Can you detect them? Can you see when they are intending to cross, they start, stop, so on and so forth, and can you make some decisions on that? And we are trying to do this in near real time. So there are several intersections, and what we are doing V2X is vehicle to X. It could be infrastructure, it could be vehicles, and here are the names of the devices that we are using, and the next slide has a little more detail. Okay, it does 19 and modified it, instrumented it, will show you with a whole bunch of sensors. So here's that vehicle. If you look carefully, there are sensors, radar, lidar type things mounted on top, and here's what the instrumentation is in the back of the car, where we otherwise might have put luggage. There's a whole bunch of instrumentation there, and here are some of the details of the instrumentation. So where do we use this? We get a whole bunch of driver and road user behavior data to try to figure out how might we identify problems and avoid problems. So that's the whole goal. So here's yet another project where we are getting data from Dirk. As I mentioned in the previous thing, this is where the university is located. So here are 3 signalized intersections in the vicinity of the university, for which I'm going to show you data in the next few slides. So here are the cameras mounted at each of these locations, and I'll show you in the next slide. We have visibility during daytime, visibility during nighttime, because we want to make sure that our solutions will work. So on the left side is a set of photographs, 4 approaches, 4 sets of cameras, daytime. On the right side is nighttime. But it's not just the capability of the cameras. In the Las Vegas area where we are fortunate that we have fairly good street lighting, so that helps illuminate the roadway too. But the point I'm making is technology is there today. Even if it is nighttime, you can discern it. If there's lighting, it's even better. If there's not good lighting, you may have to go to more expensive types of cameras, night vision cameras. So some of the next slides are very busy, lots of detail, the fonts are small. I will try to walk you through it. These are just screen capture shots, and I once again want to acknowledge Brendan Morris, Professor Morris from electrical engineering, and my colleague Erin Breen. Her background is not engineering at all. All her efforts are community and stakeholder engagement. She looks at work that we do, the data analysis, so on, whether she works with elected officials to come up with policies and regulations, or whether she works with the police, or whether she works with the neighborhood homeowners association or schools. That's her work. She lives and breathes to do that. Once again, the point I'm making is these are collaborative efforts that take different people. We can come up with the best solutions, but if we cannot get people to accept it, it's challenging. Let me digress before I go. So many of the things that we see in transportation, I would say in other areas, but I'll focus on transportation, and safety. Overcoming these challenges is steep. It's a steep challenge, right? Would anybody disagree with that? You may want to write this down. What do the letters STEEP stand for? STEEP. We know that as a word, steep is very difficult to climb, steep hill. Pardon? Please speak up.
So it is a type of terrain.
It is a type of?
Terrain. TERRAIN.
Terrain, yeah, type of terrain, steep terrain. I'm going to use that word, and I hope you will keep this with you and use it in your careers. Whatever solution you come up with needs to meet these 5 letters for it to see the day of light and have an impact. S is for socially acceptable. Society should accept the solution. T is technically feasible. Most of us come up with solutions that are technology based. Technically, yes, it can be done. E is for environment and energy. From those perspectives, it should be doable. The second E is for economic, money. All of these things cost not small money, big amounts of money. If you have all these 4, You've met most of the things, but the last one is P, politically saleable. If the elected officials will not own it, if they will not accept it as and make it their idea, if you don't have this steep, most of the things that we come up with, if you're missing one of these, will not see fruition. So sorry for the digression, I've been meaning to share this with you, is think about when you come up with solutions, think about these aspects, just not, okay, I did my MATLAB calculations, or I did my highway capacity manual calculations, or speed, oh, this is the radius of the curve, so on and so forth. That's only one part of the whole process. I see you looking at me with surprise. No comments? All right, so now let me walk you through these next set of slides. I have 10 more slides, and I will try to stop in another 15 to 20 minutes or so. So here, this is University Center Drive and Harmon Avenue, which is one of the intersections adjacent to the university. Here, this is the cameras are continuously recording, and then they have enough using AI techniques. When there is an issue, those frames or those sets of frames are separated, and Dirk is the company that does this. They then come up with these red bounding boxes to help us from the transportation side. So what you have here is the location is University Center at Harmon. The date is 2/22/2025. I told you in the US we put the month first, so that is February 22. The time is 1:13 and 51 p.m. So kind of midday. What do we have here? It's a near miss. The speed of the vehicle was 14 miles an hour. And what was the type of near miss? The vehicle cut off whoever was who was the other one. You can see, I'll get to that. And what was the detection area? That is the west leg of the intersection. Did you have a question? No. I saw your hand go up. That's I'll do that too.
So I have one question.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
So when we are talking about near miss, can you talk in terms of values also, like kinematic values? When we are saying near miss, like we are seeing the video of the near misses.
Yeah.
So can you give a glimpse of
The answer is here. Bear with me.
Okay.
So here, the road user A is a bicyclist. So you can see the bicyclist here, and the bicyclist was traveling at 10 miles an hour and making a right turn, so going from here to there, and the direction of movement was westbound. Road user B is a passenger vehicle traveling at 14 miles an hour, going from here, making a left turn. So the point of conflict is this person making a right turn, the bicyclist making a right turn, and the motorist making a left turn. So the surrogate safety measures here is post encroachment time, which is not relevant here, time to collision, 0.4 seconds. Okay, so near miss. So we will have to define, in the Indian context it may be 0.001 second. People are so tolerant. In the US context, again, it may vary from one location to another. It is for us, we can code it in, saying that for me, if there's a potential conflict and time to conflict is less than 0.7 seconds, characterize it as a near miss. In other situations where you have maybe a lot of elderly population, we have in the Las Vegas area and many parts of age restricted communities, where a community, neighborhood, a housing colony has people living over a certain age, 55 years of age or 60 years of age. Their mobility is much smaller. Their walking speeds are maybe 2.5 feet per second as opposed to 3.5 feet per second that we use. So for them, the time to collision may be 1.5 seconds, not half a second. They are not able to jump off and get away. So it is up to us to decide what might be an appropriate metric where we have a near miss. Other things could be physical separation. Here we are doing it in time. But in India, maybe it is the space. I told you, I get so nervous going in a car. If I put my finger out, maybe the car next to me will chop it off. People are tolerant to that. Maybe I'm exaggerating. But vehicles come within maybe less than 0.35 meters, 1 foot or so. If that is tolerable here, that's not a near miss. So then you will put the threshold in terms of spaces of if it is less than 0.34 meters. Did that answer your question, Ritesh? All right, so then so this is how we look at it. I'll go to the next. This is actual crash that happened, and so it captures the frames before and after. Once again, what we have here, the location. So each event has a complex ID number. So once again, we can link this to, there are other data feeds that are coming. At the same time, we can go and look at this instant, what was the traffic signal timing, what were the signal head detection indicators on all legs, on all approaches. So that unique identifier, event ID, is important there. The detection was, this was about 3 months ago, December 2nd, 2024, 9:13 a.m. The detection was on the east leg. Road user A was a passenger vehicle traveling at 19 miles an hour, making a left turn, going from south to east. So going southbound, making a left turn to go east. Okay. Yes. Going south, making a left turn to go east. For us, left turn is the same as right turn here. And the second user was a pedestrian walking at, or set of pedestrians walking at 4 miles an hour, and they were just doing a through movement in a marked crosswalk. So, and you can see they will give you the video feed of about 15 seconds. That's reasonable enough time. The previous one too, it may vary from a few seconds to maybe 30-35 seconds. And on the previous set of videos that I shared with you online, you saw most of them were between 15 seconds and 45 seconds or so. So those are all video data, we can visualize it. But if we want to automate the analysis, we have to get it in some numerical format. So here are examples that translated each such event into some numerical values, and I'll walk you through this. This is a busy slide. The next slide I will zoom in. Okay. But what I wanted to show you here, this is the company Dirk, and they are a Dubai based company who have a lot of operations in North America and across the world. So you can look at determine what you want, location overview, safety insight, what type of events do you want, statistics about the events near, and you can select what you want. And here traffic insight, so here is safety, traffic. Do you want vehicle counts, do you want vehicle classification, car, truck, bus, so on, or even within passenger vehicles, different types of vehicles, peak hour analysis, turning movement counts, vulnerable road user counts, speed distribution, and so on. So there are lots of options that they have pre-programmed, but if you or your organization want something different, if it is feasible, for a cost, most of these companies will retool the interface to allow you to get this. So then what do we have here? You have a search capability and what you display. So the first column is the event ID. What I showed you on the previous slides in the videos, you had an event ID at the top. So the event type, and in this case it is a near miss with the vulnerable road user. So all of this is near misses. Detection area, east leg, south leg, north leg, so on and so forth. Date and time. The next one is speed. What was the type of near miss? It's just not categorizing it as a near miss. The motorist cut off the vulnerable road user. Right of way, that is, the pedestrian had the right of way to go in the crosswalk, but the motorist did not yield the right of way. Here's one more term, Ritesh, you were asking. This is post encroachment time in terms of the collision paths of the vehicles. How many seconds after, or vehicles or the users, how many seconds after one user crossed a point did the other vehicle come? And in the Indian context, it may be as less as 1 second or 2 seconds. In the US context, we are concerned about 3-4 seconds also. Time to collision, what I talked to you about. Gap times between when events happen, and severity, all of these were characterized as low. And who was the impacted road users? The passenger vehicle and pedestrian, passenger vehicle, pedestrian, and direction of the vehicle travel. Let me go to a zoomed in version. The same thing. Now this is from more recent, February 27th and 28th. So you're looking at less than a month ago. So we are able to do these analysis in near real time. We get these data feeds. We have a connection thanks to our partnership with the city, the municipality, several other agencies. So we could probably do the analysis of something that happened at 9 a.m. right now within the hour. But there are some QA/QC delays depending upon if you own the access to the data, you may be able to do it near real time. For us, we have to, there's a little bit of a delay that they may want to review certain things. Once again, you have the event ID, event type, non-motorist vulnerable road user, detection area, which segment, date, time, speed, and type, so on. And here, this one, Dr. Morris just filtered the high, and you can look at the time gaps and time to collision less than a second. So these are the tabular data. We can then look at this hundreds and hundreds of these either at one location, in one area, along one roadway corridor to figure out the extent of the problem. Remember, I started by saying that crashes are fortunately rare events, but for every crash we have thousands of near crashes. So how can we learn from these? So once again, this is a busy chart, and what I have in here I will show on the next chart. What you have on the left are filters or analytical or queries that you can set or customize within certain ranges that they provide. Okay? And then here's a dashboard that gives us an overview, and you can pick it. I'll show you how you can pick it. In this case, so this was Monday, March 3rd, so this month. Top 3 near miss situations. This was a bicycle and passenger vehicle through movement. Bicycle, passenger vehicle, bicycle, passenger vehicle. What was the type? It was cut off. Weekday, this happened afternoon 12 to 4, 12 to 4, morning 7 to 9. How many? 433. So that's. Now let me just go to the next slide where it is a little clearer. This is for 1 week, if I remember, February 25th to March 3rd, or February 26th to March 2nd, something thereabouts. Once again, within the past month. Here is an overview. Now if you're trying to present this to a manager or somebody higher up, they don't want to get into all those details that we showed on the tables. Here's an overview. Here are the near misses with high severity, low severity. You had 4 near misses with high severity, we had 18 in low severity. By time of the day, when did it happen? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so on. By time of the day, here's the day of the week, time of the day. And what were the type of movements? Left turn, through, right. And near miss by direction, going northbound, northbound to eastbound, southbound, southbound to westbound, so on and so forth. You can, and what is the type of near miss? Either did not yield the right of way or cut off the other person. So these are the dashboard gross metrics, and this is what you can use to determine what might be an appropriate countermeasure or set of countermeasures that would help remedy the problem that we have at hand. Questions, comments, concerns? Okay, I see several people joined online and in class after I had made an announcement early on. Okay. Ritvik, I'm going to charge you to repeat the announcement that I had, the problem that we are going to work on in the tutorial. If you will help me, help the others understand the challenge I gave you, please use the microphone. Please pay attention, those of you who are not here early on. I will call on every one of you in the tutorial session for this.
So we have a tutorial. So first task is to identify a place on planet where you have spent maximum time, and it should be after your 5th year, 6 years onwards.
First standard onwards.
Yes, yeah. First standard onwards. So if that is done, then we move to task number 2. You have to figure out what are the 3 most critical road safety challenges that you see in these last years. 3 most critical road safety challenges. Hope that is clear.
Thank you. Did everybody online hear the questions? Is there anybody who did not hear the question? Thank you. Microphone. If you did not hear the question, raise your hand. Otherwise, you're going to be held accountable for the question. Those in the classroom, Shashi and group who are sitting in the last rows, why did you choose to sit there? There's so much space here. I know you didn't want to disrupt the class. Thank you. Right.
So first question is not clear.
First question
Hello.
is, where on planet Earth have you spent the most amount of time after you were 5 years of age, or that is after you would have started studying in 6th standard, I mean 1st standard? Which city, town, village, district, you choose where what the geography is, because under 5 years of age most of us don't remember a whole lot about this. After that we would likely remember. Was that Chandrika Verma who asked that?
Yes, sir, I have heard the question.
Okay, thank you. I couldn't figure. Thank you, Ritvik, for helping me. So, Shashi and group, you need to relay the question to your newest teammate. So, let's move to one more thing where I am interested also in pedestrian exposure. So far we were talking about all vehicular movements, and on this slide it is very similar to what we saw earlier, but I will walk you through the steps. Here this is the safety score. We can choose last 365 days, last 90 days, last 30 days. So this metric is for the last 30 between February 4 and March 3rd of 2025. And on the y-axis is the count, and here are various indicators that we have. Safety score, it's not a count, for this week, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. The next I want to go to are safety insight snapshots. Within the last 7 days, what are different types of events? And you have a score also, 79. The number is there at the bottom. I apologize for it not being very visible. Here you had 0 events of this type, 50 events, which represents a 79% reduction from the previous comparative time period. So remember what I talked to you about earlier. We are interested not only the absolute state or absolute count, we are also interested in the change of state. What has been the change for good or for bad? So here we have 79% reduction on conflicts with pedestrians. Right turn conflicts, 69% reduction, and so on and so forth. You get it as a snapshot. Then looking at it further, we are able to extract, here are the vehicle movements on each approach. How many going straight, how many turning right, how many turning left. But if we are looking at pedestrians, we need to get pedestrian counts too. So from this DIRC interface, we are also able to get the pedestrian movements for the same period of time. And none of this is done manually. It is taking advantage of whether it is computer vision, pattern recognition, image recognition, and other machine learning tools. You train the system to say, okay, this is a pedestrian, this is a bicyclist, so on and so forth. I do not have expertise in that, but I work with people who are experts in that, so that we can collaborate to address broader societal needs. And based on an analysis of all of this, we identify, come up with a heat map or so, saying where do you have the highest concentration, highest intensity, highest challenge, highest need of the problems. This is a different location, but you get the sense. Similarly, you can see here we had increases. Last one I showed we had decreases. Here we have some increases. So this is Flamingo Road at University Drive. This was Flamingo Road at Cambridge, close to the university. And this is a zoom in of one of the previous ones, like how we extract intelligence from data. Now we have something actionable. We can show this to various people, not just the engineers or the planners. We can take this to the neighborhood homeowners association meeting, the school teachers, parent teachers meeting. Here are actual problems. Here's what we are trying to do to help improve the situation. We need your cooperation, we need your buy-in, we need your participation. So as I mentioned, it's just not doing the analysis, but communicating what you did, what it means, and how would it affect them. And pictures, graphical communication tools are absolutely important in this. So I said 10:30 and I am right there, and I can start the next exercise if Chai is not going to be here till 10:45. Chai is there? Oh, thank you so much. So once again, please buckle up, everyone, every position in the vehicle, every time before you start the other person starts the engine or you start the engine, and until you turn off the engine. I see some people doing this. Yes, do it, do it, do it. Okay. Lead by example. I'm not afraid to shame other people in the vehicle if they disobey such simple things that can make a life of a difference. All it takes is a fraction of a second of no fault of our own. It may be somebody else who violated traffic laws, came and hit our vehicle. And I have some very personal thing why it is. I lost my father-in-law when he was 45 years of age. He was a professor of chemistry. He was a dean of a university here in Cochin. You know how? He was in a motor vehicle that had 8 other occupants going to the Puri Jagannath temple. The driver kind of nodded off, fatigue, just dozed off for a moment. The vehicle rolled over. It was on an embankment. Nobody was wearing a seat belt. Everybody was ejected. The vehicle landed on my father-in-law. His ribs broke. He was the only one who had any injury. He died 40 minutes later. Safety is personal. So if this doesn't send you a message of the importance of wearing seat belts, I hope you never ever come across such a situation in your own family, circle of friends, but keep this in mind. Seat belts save lives. All right, let's take a chai break or coffee break. Thank you.
So there is one question.
Yeah.
What about radar bot app? Such type of app misused by Indian tech youth. Radar bot app.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, there's a question in the chat bot about, okay, what about radar bot app? Such types of apps are misused by Indian youth. I don't know what exactly you mean by radar bot app, but in the US what I've seen is there are some devices that you can buy that you mount inside your vehicle that will alert you if there are any radar guns or police trying to measure your speed, to try to give you a warning before you get into that speed zone. In some states that's not legal. I have no idea about the legality of that in the Indian context. Does anybody else in the audience, participants, know anything about the radar bot apps?
This question from Tushar. So
Tushar.
Tushar can ask if any.
Tushar, this was the question we tried to address, but do you have anything to be more specific about what do you mean by a radar bot app?
So actually, a radar bot app that helps to identify the location of the placement of cameras.
Okay.
And so whatever the cameras or speed detectors are available on the road or national highways or express highways, before 300 or 5 kilometer, it gives the idea to the driver.
Yeah. So this is similar to what I just talked about, the radar detectors in the US, and I don't know whether or not these are legal in India. The first thing would be
Not legal, sir.
Yeah, it's not legal.
Not legal.
Then you then the police need to enforce it. But how do you detect the radar bot apps? You need to have something else to detect that, right? I don't have a quick solution, but it is something that is got a technological bent on the first hand to identify which vehicle has these radar bot apps. The second thing is, what do you do once you identify that vehicle? How do you bring that vehicle to a stop? The next thing is, if you brought the vehicle to a stop and identify the driver, how do you then, I don't want to say punish, but how do you bring charges against that driver?
Oh, sir, one more thing. Actually, GPS relay also used to demolish the vehicle data, whatever the data is generated previously by GPS. So using the GIS or GPS relay, the data get destroy or whatever.
Okay,
So it's also.
I can understand your question, but I do not have any expertise or knowledge to comment on that. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns? No. So then I'm going to start on the questions that I posed to you, and I want everyone, you have about 1 minute per person to provide your responses to the two questions. Identify one place on planet Earth where you have lived the longest after age 5, that is time when you can remember, and what are the 3 biggest safety challenges that you have. Can we have that hand microphone going around? That might be more expedient than trying to get the other microphone going. So let me start from the back of the room there. If you take the microphone to the, yes. Yeah, so they got a microphone there. Yes.
Sir, actually I need some time.
Okay, I'll tell you, I'm really disappointed because I posed this question at the beginning of the session today.
Yes, sir.
And there's been plenty of time, and that's a poor excuse. I'm being very blunt, I'm being very direct. Next person, Surya.
Hello sir, I am Surya. I have lived my most of my life in my hometown. It is a small.
Yeah, don't give me in long sentences. Lived
Okay.
in
my hometown and 3 main.
Name of hometown?
Hole Narsipura, near Mysore.
Kodanasipura, Mysore. Okay, that's what. Just say Surya, Kodanputra, Mysore, and now the 3 traffic safety issues.
First is abrupt joining of a T intersection.
Okay.
And the gradient is very high, and it joins the main highway at
steep gradient.
Steep gradient.
Professor Maurya had shown some photos similar to that. Okay, next.
In my local, and similar T intersection is there, but there is no visibility for
line of sight.
Line of sight for
Okay,
the intersection.
2. What is the third?
Third
I
is
want quick. 1 minute. Yeah.
Roadside encroachment within the town.
Define what you mean by encroachment.
Encroachment of vendors, street vendors.
Okay,
yes.
All right. Now, next.
Ishita Pragya, and I have lived most of the time in Prayagraj, Allahabad. So the 3 road safety issues are people are not wearing a helmet, high speed nearby the school areas, and no lane discipline is there.
Okay. All right. Next. Please identify yourself so people online can know who it is. Where's the handheld microphone? Okay, so that we will use that. So
No, it is
Ritesh
fine.
got
It is fine. My name is Ritesh Rao.
No, what are the? I don't want just your name. There are 2 questions you need to answer.
The longest I live in Gorakhpur, and the problems safety related are.
Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so please state the state also. I'm not as familiar with all cities. Okay.
Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh, and the safety challenges there are poor infrastructure related to the pedestrian, like irregular footpaths, then encroachment of the roads by the kiosk and the local vendors,
Okay.
and also the poor enforcement.
Okay.
And one thing I have seen in the recent, in the behavior of the road users, that are they are being impatient. So
Patient road users.
yeah, so
That's
that
the fourth problem. I said 3.
okay. Thank you.
All right. Let me go across.
My name is Akshay, Calicut City, Kerala. So the 3 road safety issues that I have identified is, first one is traffic rule violations. Example, lane discipline is not followed. Then certain signal violations have been observed. Then speed limits have been exceeded. So the second one is lack of pedestrian safety measures, which includes improper absence of footpaths. And the third one is the road infrastructure issues, like pavement distresses have been found.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sir, my name is Pritam Prakash Shah, and I lived most of the time in district Singrauli, Madhya Pradesh. And the road safety challenges, what I saw that time is that first one is the pedestrian crossing. There is not proper crossing for the pedestrian. And the second one is that there is no proper lane marking also. So it is a difficulty for the people to make the lane discipline. And sir, other one is that, sir, what I saw is that they are not wearing seat belt as well.
Okay.
So that is one of the big road safety challenges. Thank you.
Thank you.
Myself Vineet Kashyap, Purnia district, Bihar. So one of the major traffic issues is that road
Just pass the hand mic, please. Oh, mic. It's start from the beginning, Vineet.
So myself Vineet, I'm from Purnia district, Bihar. So one of the major traffic road safety issues is that traffic rule violation. Recently they have installed traffic lights, but most of the passenger vehicles, they stopped in the mid block. They crossed the zebra crossing or stop line, and they stop at the mid of the intersection and on board the passenger for the passengers. And the second thing is they have widened the city road from 2 lane to 4 lane, but either side of the 1 lane is occupied either by the parked vehicles or the passenger vehicles. And the third thing is they have abruptly joining of T intersection of most of the areas.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go online. So in the order that I see here. So Verma, Chandrika Verma.
Yeah, hello sir. Chandrika Prasad, district Sultanpur, UP. Most of the time I have lived here. Major issue related to road safety is frequently the fatal crashes has been increased in my area. Lack of use of safety gear such as helmets and road sign also not properly placed. And the major issue is once accident occurred, there is a lack of trauma care services. So this is the major issue.
Okay. Chandrika Verma, हाथ दिखाइए पहले. You know why? Fatal क्या हुआ? Crash, accident नहीं. People here in the audience already were smiling when I said हाथ दिखाइए. Did you get that? Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So fatal क्या?
Fatal crashes.
Thank you. All right. Anurag? Anurag Tombre?
Good morning.
Yes.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Anurag. So I stay for the longest in Indore, MP, Madhya Pradesh, and my experience the 3 critical areas are: first is wrong side driving behavior, second is the rash driving behavior by different vehicle classes, especially the motorcycles, and third is the lack of pedestrian crossing facilities.
Okay. Thank you so much. Tushar?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. most of the time I lived in Nagpur, Maharashtra. So up to my post graduation, I lived in same place, Nagpur. So basic major challenges regarding traffic is illegal parking. Due to illegal parking, the second challenge is footpath is available, but public not willing to use footpath.
Okay.
That the second challenge, and third challenge is multimodal problems. Since the bus is not connect to the time with metro not timingly connect with trains, whatever the district trains or
Okay.
cable train.
Okay.
That's the major,
Thank
three
you.
major issues are there.
Thank you. Krishna Kishore.
Thank you. Thank you.
Krishna Kishore, you're muted. You need to unmute yourself to speak. Okay, no, so I'm going to come back to the room. Who's got the handheld microphone?
Good morning, everyone.
Closer to your mouth, yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I am Rajesh Kumar Chaudhary. I live most of the time in my hometown, which is Nirmali in district Supol, in Bihar. So major problems in these areas are like no proper pedestrian facilities are provided there. No lane discipline is going to followed in this region, and many illegal encroachments are placed at these locations. No proper crash barriers are provided, and they are parking the vehicles on the main street itself.
Okay, thank you, Rajesh.
Hello, my name is Rohit Sahu. I am from Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh, a formal princely state. So, in which there are some issues regarding a very common helmet and seat belt, which is a matter of prestige for them. It is not just a matter of safety; it's a matter of prestige there. Second one is enforcement and encroachment of
Daniel,
roads.
yeah, come on.
Enforcement and encroachment, and in some cities which I visited, like Kolkata, it is not just encroachment; it is the occupancy of the road. And third one is the poor signages.
Okay.
Yeah. In the cities like Kolkata, where you can purchase everything on the road only. Everything.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. My name is Akshay and I am from Jaipur. So the major three issues are like, first of all, is very common, like seat belt.
Akshay Banolia?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there are two Akshays.
Yes, Akshay Banolia. So one is very common, which is seat belt. Like people try not to wear seat belts. And second one is like on the outskirts of the city, like people like try not to follow the traffic rules also, like rash driving and breaking the traffic signals on the outskirts of the city. And one more thing is like if on the intersection, if it's not any monitoring device or like cameras or traffic signal, people try to break the traffic signal.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Akshay. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Rizul Soot. I am from Dharamshala, Himachal Pradesh. So Dharamshala being a tourist spot, so it has a lot of issues regarding being a hilly area. So the road widening is very difficult there. Because of that, in the last few years, the road congestion has increased because of the lot of tourist influx also. So that is one of the issue. Another is a lot of drunk driving cases have been observed there because of this. And also in the last year, I won't say it as a problem, but a lot of crash barriers have been installed in Dharamshala. So that because a lot of times we have seen that the vehicles got off the hill and fatal accidents have happened. So this is one of the improvement I have seen there.
Thank you.
My name is Anuj Bhaskar and I am from Uttar Pradesh district Bijnor, and I observe three major problems. The first one is the no safety measures like seat belt and helmet people don't wear in my city, and the second one is no footpath facilities provided, and the third one is the roadside parking. We saw a lot of people park their car on roadside because there is no parking lot provided by our government in my city.
Okay. Thank you, Anuj. I'm going to go back online. Krishna Kishore, are you active? No. Tazim?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, Kashmir, J&K. Most three reasons I found in Kashmir are basically in most of the crashes happen in winter because of poor visibility and foggy conditions. The second, I presume that is the distracted driving. People mostly use phones while driving, and the third one is prefer that heavy poor traffic discipline basically here in Kashmir.
Okay, thank you. Ishfaq? Thank you, Tazim. Ishfaq, can you unmute?
Good morning, sir.
Okay, so you're logged in
Yes,
twice.
sir. Good morning.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. For audio purpose, sir.
Yes, that's okay.
First, I have observed in my home district, Kashmir, that there is mostly the poor road infrastructure, and second is weak law enforcement, and third one is the pedestrian and cyclistic safety is totally missing there.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Ishfaq. I'm going to go back to the room here. If you don't know the questions, you better ask somebody.
My name is Ponsi and I am from Rohtas, Bihar. The first problem is no footpath for the pedestrian. Second one is no median, and third one is parking. There is a parking problem in my city.
Okay.
Okay. Myself Simadri Rohit. I lived most of my time at Raigada, Odisha. So the three problems are, first one is overspeeding. They drive at more speeds than the designated speeds.
Okay.
And the second one is road markings are missing at several places. And the third one is road maintenance. Due to poor maintenance of road, it leads to drainage and some other issues.
Okay, thank you.
Satyam Kumar. I have lived in many places, so I can name.
Pick one.
Yeah. So the most amount of time I have been in Secunderabad, Andhra that time, but now Telangana. So and the problems are there was a U-turn ahead, but people usually break the median in between, and they take wrong U-turn. And many times there are many potholes. So if vehicles are traveling at a very high speed, so certain potholes are there. And since I was living in army area that time, there were very hard structures on road. Certain tanks or some structures were there, but reflectors were not there. So in night time, there was many issues.
Okay, thank you. So are you originally from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana?
I am from Bihar.
Bihar.
Myself Sasiraj. Most of the time I spent in Muzaffarpur, Bihar. The three major.
Where? Meerut?
Muzaffarpur, Bihar.
Muzaffarpur, yeah. Muzaffarpur.
Muzaffarpur, sir.
Yeah.
The major three problems there are the high rate of traffic rule violations, inadequate emergency response systems, and the major challenges I faced is the sudden crossing of any animals along the road.
Animals. Okay. All right. Thank you. So I'm going to go back to the gentleman in the back who wanted more time. आप तैयार हैं क्या आप? सुनाइए आपकी कहानी.
Good morning everyone. Myself Shubham and I'm from Palampur, Himachal Pradesh, and okay, I lived there for most of the time of my life, and the road problems I see there, like there are like steep roads and sharp turns, and there are no like defined pedestrian crossing, and drivers used to break the laws very oftenly.
Thank you, Shubham.
Okay, sir.
All right, so let's go to this side of the room. Who's got the handheld microphone? Ritvik? Ashab? Okay.
Hello, my name is Ritik Kumar. Most of my time in Bangalore. So the three most things that I've seen in the city of Bangalore is, which is an IT city, is over urbanization and speed limit violations by construction industry machineries. Second one is pedestrian encroachment and reverse driving.
Reverse driving.
What do we call it? Conflicting.
Wrong side.
Wrong side there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So it is like a accepted practice.
Okay.
And third one is actually still the traffic violations on the main road itself. Speeding at the last moment, no respect to traffic lights.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Ashagri.
Thank you. I am Ashagri. And the most I lived is Bardar city in Ethiopia. The most three road safety issues are one is actually failure to yield pedestrians. That means not to give priority for pedestrians. That's the most critical issue in Bardar city. The second is excessive speeding, especially in Bardar city, these three-wheel vehicles, which you call it Bajaj, are the most severe and the most contributing, what you call it, crash contributing vehicles, I can say. And the third is actually lack of traffic control devices. Even the number of spots where traffic lights are installed are very few. That's actually one most challenge. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. My name is Daniel Lole. I am from Assam, district of Dhemaji, Zone I. There are 3 points that I can add for the road safety within my regions. Like I have added speed and reckless driving, because I cannot avoid speed. Even my place is of a small town, but there, because the population will be lesser in that place, so speed is reasonably higher. Because due to the reckless driving, the fatalities as well as the crashes are more. So this need to be avoided, because with reckless driving, the reaction time will be lesser because speed will be higher. It is one concern. And the lack of infrastructure. If I add the lack of infrastructure, in Assam, I have seen most of the places in the small towns, like there the infrastructure like pedestrian, for a particular pedestrian, there is no particular road to move on that road. And as well, the infrastructure like the potholes, sir. They have not maintained the potholes, sir. Even in the summer season, as you know, in Assam is one of the rainy season, it's like a huge number.
So if you were to summarize it in 3 things.
Yes, sir.
Work it backwards. Potholes.
Yes, sir. Sir, first, yes, sir. Sir, reckless driving. Second is the infrastructure.
Speeding and potholes.
No, sir. Second is the infrastructure.
Okay.
I add on the potholes there within, and the distracted and impaired driving due to addiction of drugs and alcohols is one of the main concerns in the small towns.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. Online. Let me go back to online. Ashwini.
Yeah. Good morning. Lived most of the time in Delhi. The safety issue, most prominent safety issue is pedestrians crossing over medians with disregard to footover vehicles and underpasses. Second is vehicles often crossing the yellow signals at a fast speed. And thirdly, not following lane discipline. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Looks like you're on the road, Ashwini. Sounds like.
Yes, I am.
Sounds like. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Shruti Singh.
Hello, sir. I am Shruti Singh. I have spent most of my life in Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh. And as one of the colleagues has already mentioned most of the points, I'd like to just add on to it. Like one of the traffic violations which I see is narrowing of road due to encroachment as well as due to improper parking. Second is reckless driving by two-wheelers and three-wheelers. Third is there are traffic signals at certain intersections which have been installed recently, but people are trying to follow it, but pedestrians are still unable to understand how to use that and follow it. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Shruti. Kishore, are you back on? Krishna Kishore? No. So we have 2 more people here in this room.
Okay, so hello, sir. Actually, I'm from West Bengal.
Say your
Bangkok.
name. I know your name, but the others need to know.
Yes,
Shanatan Das.
So I'm Shanthan Dash. I'm from West Bengal, Bankura district, and there are so many problems. Like I just
want three, top three.
The main problem is people awareness. There is no tendency of wearing helmet and seat belt.
Okay.
Nobody is wearing these all things, and one more problem is lane discipline. If I am riding on my lane, some vehicle or some car or bike coming towards me in front, and they are looking at me like I am making some mistake. And there is improper footpath. The people are working on the lane, and one more thing, there are some vendors are in the curve. Like if I have to make a turn, I can't see the other side.
Okay.
It's a big problem.
Rahul.
Good morning, sir. Sir, my name is Rahul Narayan. I belongs to Muzaffarpur, Bihar, a city very famous for lychee. Sir, the three problems which I faced, which I saw there. First one is police is only busy in maintaining citations, but they are not busy in law enforcement and maintaining the proper datas. First thing. Second thing, sir, for the vulnerable road users, sir, because there are no proper arrangements for the vulnerable road users such like school children's, disabled peoples and the older peoples. And third thing, sir, there is no proper educations among the people so they can follow the rules and the regulations. So
Okay.
these are the safety issues which I saw.
Thank you. Thank you all for indulging in this exercise. I'm going to follow it up with another exercise. We've got another 30 minutes. But before that, I want to give Krishna Kishore one more chance. Okay, so what I heard are the following. I think we have a lot of people from Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. These are the most commonly represented states, is what I see. I'll categorize your responses into a few classes, but that I'm going to go back and ask you to work in your teams where you're sitting. And what I want you to do is think about what we have discussed in the last 4+ days. We've talked about the 4 E's. You all identified problems. You can categorize them. A lot of them you talked about were engineering, infrastructure, that is potholes, not proper infrastructure. Second one, that education. A few of you talked about lack of education. Many of you talked about the enforcement related, that is encroachment, no lane discipline, people not wearing helmets, not wearing seat belts, violation of traffic speeds, drunk driving, driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. So that's the most prevalent thing that I heard. Okay. And emergency medicine, I think just I heard one or two who talked about emergency response. So based on what you've picked up from this course and what you know otherwise, for the problems, again, I'll let you work in groups of no more than 3 per group. Pick 3 problems that you heard from anybody. It doesn't have to be your own problem. Other than these the 4 E's that we talked about, we also talked about data, data sources, emerging tools and technologies. If you were to be the Gwalior ka Raja, okay, or Jhansi ki Rani, you have the authority, you are the collectorate, district collector, you can do what it is, you are the police chief. What would you recommend you do to improve these 3 situations? Specifically, I want you to reflect on, I'm trying to tie what you picked up from this course for the most part and your knowledge otherwise. I will give you, right now my watch says 11:35, I will go to 11:45, you have 10 minutes. But when I go back to you, I will have it in teams. Each team will have 1 minute. I don't want essays, I don't want sentences, I want crisp responses. Okay. Please put yourself together in teams of 2 or 3. Those online, please get together with your WhatsApp groups. If you're just by yourself in your WhatsApp group, just talk to yourself.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Shruti.
Sir, your voice was breaking. I couldn't hear the question and the instructions. Can you just briefly repeat it?
Okay, the question was, you heard several responses in terms of challenges or problems, safety issues. With your group, pick 3 that you think you would like to discuss. And for these 3, what are things that you picked up from this course or otherwise that you would use to solve those problems? Just imagine that you have the complete authority, you are the king of the country or the queen of the land. Is that clear, Shruti?
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. This should be done by about 12:10, 12:15, no more than that.
Okay. So let me just check whether head of the CET is available.
Yeah. Yeah. You asked him to come at 12:30? Yeah. So if he's available early, that's fine. Otherwise, we can do. Yeah. आप कौन से ग्रुप में हैं? आप पूरा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर दिए? ओके, गुड. Think about other things. 2 minutes. Hey Ritesh, could I talk to you for 1 minute? So I have your inbox that I need to get to you. Can you come to the hostel, the guest house, or do you have something else after? As soon as it is done here, I'm going to the hostel, and when the Gadi comes, I'm going to leave maybe 2 o'clock, 2:30 I will leave.
Before that, I will come.
Yes.
I will come just after.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, Loga, time ho gaya. So let's get back. And what is the question? Shanthan, what was the question that I asked? I just want you to repeat the question.
So you asked to identify any 3 problem and make a solution of these 3 which we are picked up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rohit Sahu, आपका team. Where's the microphone? Handheld microphone. Ritvik, time out ho gaya.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Please introduce your teammates.
Yeah. So I am Rohit Sahu and my teammate Akshay Banolia and Rijul Sood. So the first point is what we told us is enforcement. So the solution is like to check the corruption in enforcement, because if you are giving license very easily, so there is no respect for them to obey such traffics, and there are a lot of corruption even in the citations also. In tier 3, tier 4 cities, people are not that much afraid of that citation.
I want you to be faster because each team maybe no more than 2 minutes.
So,
we have a lot of people.
Proper check on the corruption in enforcement.
Okay.
Especially in the transport department, they are issuing licenses very easily.
Okay.
Proper road maintenance and infrastructure. So to give the infrastructure, like potholes, even at like such education, which includes education as well. Like I saw BRO, they have very good messages in those hilly terrains, BRO constructing roads. So a lot of messages are there, which is very good and very inspiring. So those kind of messages should be there in the urban roads also. And one is helmet, like petrol pump. You don't give petrol without helmet. So such kind of enforcement is there.
So I can see a very good business opportunity right next to the petrol bunk, because there's one guy
Yes.
who is renting your helmet for 5 minutes.
It already started. So.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, folks. Online, so I'm going to go to Chandrika Verma and your team. Please introduce your team members. Chandrika Prasad?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, so my teammates are Ms. Aswarya and Mr. Abbas.
Okay.
Yeah, so my response would be this for basically like which in previous question I had also mentioned. So I look at 3 major areas where I need improvement. That would be improved infrastructure and including the enforcement and awareness level among the communities and road users involving stakeholders. And the third one is the improved and accessible trauma cares to the injured victims of the road traffic injury.
Okay, thank you. Shubham, your team? What did your team come up with? Shubham, Surya, and Ishita, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm at least getting the names
sir,
together by the end of the class.
Sir, in the engineering aspect, we want to.
No, I asked Shubham to speak on behalf of your team.
So there were like for engineering emergency enforcement education. So talking about the engineering aspect, the immediate engineering effects could be like the process of like asking for funds and road safety audit is a time consuming process, so this process should be minimized. And talking about the emergency process, I should recommend like the first aid booths should be available in 5 to 10 kilometers of area. And the enforcement of laws can be like that. Many a times we can see the corruption in the traffic police. So body cameras could be a good opinion. And talking about the education, automated driving license is a good thinking. And vocally we can educate the persons about the traffic rules and the fines.
Okay, so to just expand on, you said automatic driver's license. I did not understand that.
Automated driving license.
Yeah, automated. Can you explain that?
Sir, in Delhi, they started the test in automation. If a person take test for the driving license, they can give driving license very easily. But in automation, the machines are testing your driving.
So you're using a machine to test your driving skill?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, team. Online, let me go to Tazim and your team. Tazim, are you there? Please introduce yourself and your team.
So in my team, most of the members are unresponsive, unfortunately.
So I see you have Tazim and you have Amin. So let's get the response from Tazim and Amin.
So they are both me.
I'm just teasing. Come on.
I got it.
Okay.
So the 3 points I raised earlier was lane distracted driver. For that, the channelizing islands could be raised or rumble strips to make the drivers more attentive towards the driving. And for the ICU and winter conditions, the thermal mapping should be there, or smart VMS maps should be there installed, being an authoritative responsible. And the last, there should be the most of the junctionable intersections here, which are very busy. They should be turned into MUTs, that is median U-turn intersections. And there should be a separate lane for army vehicles, and most of the accidents happen by them. I forgot it earlier.
Okay, do you have a lot of army vehicle presence?
Yeah, army vehicles very heavily, and they are purely unresponsive. They do whatever they want.
Oh, that surprised me. That's a group where I thought that we could get the commanding officer to lay down the rules, and if the rest of the folks do not follow the rules, it's tough time for them. But I'm surprised, because in most places what I hear are the military personnel are far more disciplined and law abiding because they are just trained that way, but I'm quite surprised. All right. Thank you, Tazim and Amin. Okay. Shashi and your team.
Myself, Shashi, I am along with Satyam. So we find the major problem is the infrastructure, traffic rule violation and encroachment. For the infrastructure issue, we can perform the multi-level of audit system so that the regular maintenance of roads would be there. For the traffic rule violation, we focused more on ITS. So we provide more CCTV cameras on the intersections, on the junctions. As an example, Bihar Sharif in Bihar state, the major projects, they implement the smart city. So in Bihar Sharif, when they install the camera, there no one follow the rules. But after 5 to 6 months, when they fined by so many challans, now they are following all the traffic rules. So it's a major, what we can say, that it's a major achievements for them. And the third one is the encroachments. So for the encroachment issue, we have to focus on the proper place provided to them, so that they can run their livelihood also, and the traffic also run smooth. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So let me go online. Who have I not called on? Anurag Thombre.
Hello, sir. So the first
Who are your teammates, Anurag?
So again, the team members are not. So I'm as a standalone only.
Okay.
Yeah. So my solution for the problems which I mentioned earlier is the first issue. So the first solution should be to disseminate road crash news and status every day at prime time for awareness and to actually make people realize the gravity of the situation. So first should be that. Second should be to have a bottom up approach in policy making, or rather than a top down approach. And lastly, focus should be to adopt a proven evidence based interventions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ashagre and your team? No, I called on Ashagre. I did not call on Ritvik.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Me, Ashagre, and my teammate, Ritik. So the first thing we talked about is about awareness. So education is actually the most important thing for everything. So to bring change in this regard, making awareness or education is the most important thing. So if we had been just king, or because the question is actually if we are actually have the authority to do that, then the first thing that we plan to do is to make awareness, and the other is what you call it, this control mechanisms. Means the one is to build the infrastructure for the control signals, and the other is
variable signal.
Yeah, variable science, and just to one
variable science
most important.
This one.
Yeah. Well, this is actually typical for our country. Anyways, one thing that I supposed to do is to let these three-wheel vehicles, these bajajes, to drive out of the city at least. That's also one mechanism to reduce crashes.
I didn't quite understand the last. The three-wheeler vehicles, you don't allow them in the city, or allow them just keep?
I mean, they should be out of the city.
No, they are not allowed to operate within city limits.
Yeah.
Okay. What alternative do you have for the users of those? And the person who's driving that says, that's my livelihood. Now my family is going to starve.
To increase the number of city buses and...
Okay, people can travel, but I owned a three-wheeler. Now you're saying I cannot operate it here. My family lives here. I live here. How do I feed my family? If you're not allowing me to operate my vehicle here.
Yeah, but see, because safety is most important, either they have to, I mean, they can serve actually outside the city, because there are also
I understand.
opportunities.
I'm getting you to think differently.
Yeah. But it's actually critical thing in our city especially.
I understand. Thank you. Online, who have I not called? Shruti Singh, did I call your team?
No, sir. Hello, sir.
Okay.
So, I'm Shruti Singh and my teammate is Kumar. And what we want to address is firstly the parking issues, which are quite prevalent in most of the urban cities in India. And for that, our solution is firstly to identify the areas where most of the congestion is occurring due to irregular parking. And there can be two solutions. One is with regard to engineering, like there can be multi-level parking created nearby that area. And secondly is with reference to enforcement, like wherever there is a congested area, one can make it like no vehicle entry zone, like you have to stop your vehicle before that, and then you can enter and walk or use some two-wheeler or three-wheeler facility or some public transport facility. Second is help in identifying the damaged road infrastructure, like potholes, and provide remedial solutions to it. So for that, monitoring can be done using drones, or also by proactive reporting from people with respect to damage in their respective areas. And the third is obviously education wise, since a lot of people are not aware about traffic rules in India still, all across the city. So for that, awareness can be spread, and a lot of local institutions like the local colleges and students can be used to spread those awareness using campaigns, and by proper involvement of authorities also.
Okay, thank you, Shruti. I heard you give credit to Pratyush, your teammate, but I don't see him logged on. Maybe I'm not seeing, but so credit to you for giving him credit. Okay, Pawan and your team.
I am Pawan and my teammates are Rohit and Anuj.
And?
Anuj.
Okay.
And the three problems are first one is overspeeding, second is drainage and maintenance, and third one is illegal parking. And for overspeeding, we should post strict checking and compliance. And regarding drainage and maintenance, road safety audit and infrastructure improvement. We need road safety audit and infrastructure improvements. And for parking related problems, we should have road widening. And second one is awareness campaign, like we should not park our vehicle on the road and near the shops and something. Thank you.
Near the shops, okay. Shopkeepers are going to be upset. Thank you, Pawan and team. Online, did I not call on anybody? Ishfaq, did I call on you and your team?
Yes, sir.
So I already asked you to summarize, or are you ready now? I don't remember. Okay, who in this room has not yet presented? Okay, Akshay, right? Yes. Go ahead, speak for your team.
Good morning, everyone. Our team consists of Vineet Bhaiya, Preetham Bhaiya, and myself, Akshay. So the first thing is we will improve the driving license issue system. So for that, specifically we will target on the learners issue. So we will give proper awareness. Then we will ensure that all the people improve their driving skills as well as their awareness of traffic rules. Second thing is that we will try to improve the data collection system. So as Maurya sir said, we will try to implement the iRide app, and we will try to ensure that data collection is done properly along with collaboration with the departments. Like for example, nowadays after laying down a new road, the water department will come and break the road to issue the pipeline. So collaboration between departments will be a good thing. And the third one, so with the collaboration of department, the policy making will be efficient. And the third one is we will try to encourage public transport. For that, we will try to bring the congestion pricing system, which is introduced in New York City. That's an example. Thank you.
Thank you. Vineet, you haven't spoken at all during much of the deliberations. You did? Okay. All right, thank you. Is there anybody online who has not had an opportunity to present, or any team
Yes,
online?
sir.
Yes, thank you, Tushar.
WhatsApp group 3, sir.
Yes, Go ahead,
Yes, sir.
Tushar.
In my group, Sayantu Mohanta and Ashutosh Tiwari. Other list of names not available in WhatsApp group. So actually, as a
Who are the
authorized person
people?
or gazetted person,
Pardon me, Tushar. You, Ashutosh, and who's the third person?
Sayanto Mohanta,
Okay, Shayanto.
Sayanto Mohanta, and
Yeah.
Ashutosh Tiwari.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, as an authorized person or gazetted persons, I'm willing to first develop the safety budget for the my county or whatever the my state.
Okay.
Secondly, I want to control the types of various types of bitumen cost, polymer cost, and aggregate cost values in the domestic market, whatever the market I have. So it helped to develop the better infrastructure because in present day the bitumen cost and the aggregate cost is going very rapidly increasing. So to controlling the budget and to providing the safety in terms of that road and development and everything, it's become very costly. As my second point is education for the traffic safety is started from childhood, means preschooling school like a Europe, like a UK. They are
Okay.
starting the point is strengthening the law and enforcement related illegal parking, encroachment, removing debris from the road timingly, because most of the cities, urban cities, are in morning time are full with debris, whatever the plastic debris or
Yes.
other types of debris. So all 3 points is there. First is uh, uh, like a infrastructure and safety budget. Second is education, and third one is law and enforcement, strengthening the law and enforcement.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Rajesh, आपका team. The other two people, introduce yourself. Yeah. Please introduce them. I haven't heard them speak, so maybe I'll have you give the microphone to them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You will explain the.
Turn on the
solution.
microphone.
Yes, it is. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rajesh Kumar Chaudhary, and my teammates is Shivam Bhai Patel and Upendra Yadav. So, the three problems we have selected, like first is lack of available infrastructure facilities for safe traffic mobilities. Second one is lack of.
I'm going to have Shivam talk, so I want all three of you to talk.
Yes,
so
sir,
you
yes, sir.
spoke about one, usko
Yes,
de
sir, yes,
dena.
sir, yes, sir.
Right now. You spoke about one.
Yes, sir.
Second one.
We have decided that I will explain the solution for first problem and second problem and third problem.
Okay.
Okay. So the first problem is lack of available infrastructure facilities for the traffic mobilities. Second problem is lack of awareness about the traffic rules, and third problem is like illegal driving behavior, like underage teenager are driving the vehicle very frequently. So the solution for first problem may be like we have to install the proper lane marking or proper crash barrier for the maintaining the infrastructure, and proper and systematic road safety audits should be taken at a regular interval, so that the infrastructure should be maintained properly. And about the second problem, which is lack of awareness, Shivam will explain.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself Shivam Bhai Patel. I am from Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh. My issue is lack of awareness of traffic rules, and for solution for this is organizing regular campaigns for introduction of road signs and traffic rules in schools and colleges to tell its importance.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Upendra Yadav. I am from Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh, and I am raising a topic like underage driving, in which the parents should be responsible and keep eye on the children, so that they will not take the vehicle to drive without permission to parents. And another thing, the awareness should be taken in the school and college. And third is like as per per my opinion, we should put the weighing sensor on the driving seat so that we can put the 45 kg below age driver if sit on the driving seat, the vehicle will not start.
Backpack lagayega. School ka backpack is 15 kilos right there. They'll put it in their lap. I'm just joking. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. So your team has not presented, Ritesh. Yeah.
So my name is Ritesh Rao, and my other teammate is Daniel. So the points I have is in education section, I would like to work on the reckless driving and road user behavior to improve them. At the initial level also that other colleagues have talked, like teaching them in the school days. So they can be learning from that time only. And also who are already driving, so different initiatives should be taken to motivate them. The other point is quick response and quick medical responses after crash. It is missing at the most of the places. Because like few years ago, I lost one of my friend due to the lack of medical emergency. He was lying on the road in Shimla, and in 2 hours, due to excessive bleeding, he died. And the third is strict enforcement of the laws and motivating officials and road users to have a moral values, because I think it's a two-way process. If we don't give, they don't take. And one point will be explained by my other teammate Daniel.
Thank you, Ritesh. Already Ritesh says include 3 E's, and now the last I'm ending the engineering part. Actually, as an engineer, what we can do. The simple point is that designing and maintaining safer roads, as well as in the intersections of transportation infrastructures, as which include better layouts and traffic signals and pedestrians crossings and vehicle safety features. These main points, if the engineers can perform better, overall the safety will enhance more. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Ashwini, did your team speak? Is Ashwini online? No, I think he was in the vehicle, if I remember. Oh, Krishna.
So Krishna Kishore.
Okay, so good to hear from you. So what is your team's response, Krishna Kishore?
Yes, myself Krishna Kishore and my other teammate is Ashwini Gupta. So we were discussing about the problems like improving the road infrastructure, like roads should be designed for forgiving in nature instead of punishable. Or we can identify the roads which are lacking the crash barriers, those things. So we can try to convert the punishable roads into forgiving roads. Second one is to improve the emergency services, like positioning ambulance in the hotspot zones, or like promoting patrolling of ambulance, just like patrolling police. Like we can promote patrolling ambulance in the hotspot zones where the hospital is far away from the location. So in those areas, we can promote that. Third is enforcement. Regarding that, policy should be aimed at target groups, like novice riders or new riders, based on a systematic approach. So which target groups are getting affected more? So policy should be aimed at that. In addition to that, improving public transport infrastructure. Like if we try to improve the public transport travel, we can reduce the number of vehicles on road. So if we reduce the number of vehicles on road, obviously we can reduce the accidents at some point. Like,
change the language. Reduce what?
Reduce crashes, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kai neetti kaattupa na tharen onnu rendu tharen. Purinjada?
Okay, sir. Okay.
I was talking to him in Tamil. All right. Thank you. So we have Shayantan and Rahul who haven't yet reported. Is there anybody else who hasn't reported? Okay, Shayantan and Rahul.
Okay, sir. So we come up with this three problem, which is the first one is maintaining accurate accidental data. We don't have these all things. So if
what
we
data?
Accidental. Oh, sorry, sir. My mistake. Crash data.
Okay.
So, sir, if we maintain accurate crash data, it will be helpful to forecasting the menace related to infrastructure and behavior of the what we call driver and all. And then second one is EMS and informants, and the one more important thing is ITS. It should be our more priority list, top priority list. And another one is safety education should be there. If we start it from the school days, from school children's, and one more thing is local religious leader. If we make these all things, then it will be helpful for us.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Is there anybody else who wants to add a very brief comment, 30 seconds? Online? Okay, let me reflect
No,
on. Let me reflect on. Did somebody speak up online?
No, I just said no, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. So there are several things I heard, and I was looking more for, many of you provided solutions. If you are the Raja or Rani, what would you do? I like that. But the one challenge that I found is I'm trying to have you work towards implementable solutions. Many groups talked about road safety audit. That is more of a problem identification. Yes, it is an important step. But what after you identify the problem? The other thing in terms of infrastructure, one or two of you talked about the money that you need. Remember today I talked to you about STEEP, STEEP. Okay, so the money part is a very big part, and you need to bring your solutions, the E for economics and finance. A few of you talked about the political acceptance of getting the elected officials to own the solutions, and whether it is the political leaders, the appointed leaders, religious leaders, faith leaders, so on. I was very enthused. Initially I was thinking, why is nobody talking about catch them early, hook them young, teach them from early ages? Then I heard later on many of you talked about that. One thing that I didn't explicitly say, that I think it was Shashi who said, when you had the smart cities in Bihar, first 6 months you had no major behavioral change, but after 6 months it became commonplace for everyone. So that's the bringing about a change in safety culture. A few of you alluded to that. If you don't give a bribe, they don't take a bribe, or there's no. So all of that comes to the behavioral change at an individual level, at a group level, that soon becomes a culture. So if we want long-term benefits, long-term solutions with longer-term benefits, the behavioral changes are most difficult to come, but they are the ones that have the biggest bang for the buck, especially if you start early and then work with peers. Start early in the sense younger ages. The engineering solutions are much easier to identify and come up with, but much harder to get people to buy into it. You can put a left turn lane or right turn lane and traffic signal, ITS devices, but how do you bring about compliance? So that's where the enforcement and engineering need to go hand in hand. Several of you in the first part of the problem set, you said government is not providing parking. I'm going to turn it around and ask, is it the government's role to provide parking? It is the private developers who are either building stores, shops, shopping malls, high-rise residential units. Shouldn't there be a responsibility on that? Because, so that has to do not necessarily with safety, it has to do with zoning and permits. When you give a permit to do this, in the United States, many parts of the Western world, there is what is called a traffic impact analysis. If you change it from a vacant land, or now it has a small villa, now I'm going to take 2 or 3 parcels, plots that have small villas, combine it all, I'm going to build a high rise that has 20 stories or 30 stories. What parking is it going to generate? Then they have to provide adequate parking. And if it is commercial, are they providing parking? So that gets to the encroachment and street vendors, street hawkers, so on and so forth. That also has to be not just from an engineering design. Why are they? If there are times when you have whether the governor is coming or the prime minister is coming, the roads are clear, there is no street thing. If you can have it at that time, why can't you have it at other times? So that takes multiple angles. One is, why is it that, okay, maybe they know it's temporarily for one day, I'm going to move away. But they have to know, you have to inform them that this is the travel way, this is the pedestrian footpath, and that's where enforcement comes into play. One challenge we see in the United States is homeless. Believe it or not, there are a lot of homeless people in urban settings. They take over footpaths or along, if you have a wall, they put some kind of a sheet or something in cover. So those are some of the approaches. I'm glad you all talked about several parts that we touched upon over the last 4 days, but I hope you take it a little deeper as you progress in your education and work careers. Think about broader than what you're just doing in engineering. Emergency medicine, a few of you talked about that, but ambulances are typically privately owned, right? I don't know if there are government services, my recollection is here. So for them, what is in it for them? Yes, saving lives, reducing injuries are noble, but strategically locating these ambulances based upon historical data are certainly good. ITS and other technological solutions are absolutely possible, but think about the implementation and adoption and acceptance. How easy would it be for the broader community to accept it? Costs and challenges. One related thing is somebody talked about you pave a road and somebody else comes and cuts it, they want to put a water line, so on. In most urban areas, I think there is a solution. One thing that we did was we came up in Las Vegas, and I was very proud to be a part of it, is what is called a utility coordination committee. There are 17 utilities that have their infrastructure within the public right of way. We only think about the roads. There's water, there's wastewater, electric. In those days we had powered telephone lines, now fiber optic lines, gas, so on and so forth. So the rule was that every month the group would meet and they will lay out the plans for the next year, next 2 years. So come up with a strategic way, especially where I was in Las Vegas, where we had a 400% growth from 6 lakh population to 2.4 million in 20 years. It was important because we were developing new. The rule was that you coordinate, and they had a sequence. The wastewater people will go first, then the clean water, the wet first, dry before you get the power, high power, low power, high power, so on. And the penalty was if somebody had to cut, except if it is except for emergencies, they not only have to patch that, they have to patch a longer path so that it's just not a bump. Okay. So many of these, the companies, electric power and gas, telephone are all private. So what they do is before a road is paved, they put a blank conduit, they put a big pipe under it so that they don't have to come and cut it. So these are some of the things to think beyond what we do. And I want to leave you with one slide. I see Dean here, so I need to transition and thank you. Take this away when you go to meet somebody. You're all in your educational programs. You will graduate soon, finish your degrees. As you're interviewing for career opportunities, present yourself the way you would like to be taken. So I enjoyed the last 5 days that I've been with you. I appreciate the opportunity to come be with you, and special thanks to Professor Maurya and Dr. Bharadwaj for inviting me to be a part of this program. I've learned quite a bit from this. I hope that you have derived some GIAN from this GIAN program. I certainly, मैंने बोला था ज्ञान देना और ज्ञान लेना, थोड़ा सा मेरे को भी ज्ञान मिला है. So thank you for the opportunity, and also to get to know most of you in this room, at least by face, and I think I have most of the names and faces connected now. And those of you online, thank you again and appreciate your patience. So over to our program organizers.
Yeah. So thank
Sir,
you, Professor
sir.
Shashi.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sir,
Tushar.
I have one question. I typed on chat box.
Okay, I can
Sir, I have one question. I typed on chat box.
Okay. Yes, if there are laws in terms of in the United States, the question is, are there laws in the United States that public officials can be penalized for abuse of their privileges? Absolutely yes, and one simple thing I can tell you is parking at our airport. The Las Vegas airport has about 900 flights every day. So we've got many parking spots. But people, the government employees who are associated with the airport or high ranking officials can park for free at the airport if they are traveling on business. But if they are traveling on private, they have to pay parking. So about 1.5 years ago, the newspaper there under the Freedom of Information Act, or RT, what is it, right to information, they got data and showed that there were many government officials who were abusing this, and those people had not only to pay the parking but fines on top of that. So that's one example. Did that answer your question, Tushar?
Thank you, sir.
So
okay.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
yeah, in this
It's
in the same
people
line
in
there
India,
is
it's
like
not,
one. Yeah, Tushar, you can complete.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the query is that in the similar line that like whether if accident happen and then like subsequent
happens?
crash happens. So in crash happen and some fatal crash happen actually. So in that fatality, if the subsequent investigation concluded that there is some geometrical fault and those things. So whether the respective agency and the respective person get penalized.
Agency may not get penalized, but what will happen is usually the person who was injured or killed, there will be an attorney, a lawyer who represents their interests. They'll go to court and say that it was due to negligence. There are two parts. One is negligence when the agency knew that there was a problem, they didn't fix it. The other could be that, hey, something happened and they were not aware of it. But then the individual or the family or the estate of the individual may be awarded by the court financial compensation, and that will have to be paid by the government agency. Sometimes these government agencies also have insurance programs to cover some of these things, just like individuals have insurance programs. It depends.
Yeah, because if some accident happen crash happens,
Yeah.
crash happen due to potholes, and maybe then individual can
no, there is a limit too. Okay, because if there's a pothole, there may be hundreds and thousands of potholes. I saw an interesting photo about a month ago. This was in the United Kingdom. There was a big pothole. I can't remember where it was. If you look, ask Professor Google, you'll find it, a photo. So for many months that was a big pothole. So one of the residents did one thing. He took a couple of sticks, put a pant in that and shoes, and put it upside down as though somebody's head was there and feet sticking up. And within 2 days they had the pothole filled. Okay, so what's the next step?
Yeah, next step, like already CET head is here. So now maybe we can proceed for conclusion session.
Okay.
So may I ask for one query, sir?
Yes, please. Anurag?
Yes, sir. So actually, like hit and run crashes are like a growing menace on the Indian road. And as of now, as a country as a whole, we are not able to find solution to it from a road safety point of view, because again, from the crash data, we are not having enough information that what are actually the precursors to the hit and run crashes, and the post during crash what happened. So how is USA dealing with the hit and run crashes, and what's the way forward in this aspect?
Yeah, it is a very difficult solution and challenging solution for the hit and run crashes. There's a lot of detective work that's done by the police, that's detective done by the insurance agencies, because if the crash involves a motor vehicle, the motor vehicle likely has sustained some damage. So then they work with the automobile repair shops to see, hey, is there any vehicle that has been brought in for repairs that have certain characteristics. And oftentimes we will have some evidence, some witness who says, okay, this was a black car, it was a small car, a new car, old car. So they use that to piece it together. But still, there are some hit and run cases that are not solved, but the penalty for hit and run is much steeper than if you were at the scene till the police arrived. Okay. Hey, one other comment I wanted to make is, Ritesh, I'm sorry that to hear about your friend. So these are difficult. Can I take this off? Yeah. Now, as I mentioned the other day, I do want to take one more moment to thank all the people with the IT, audiovisual, the CET staff who have helped us run what I think has been a very seamless and very efficient.
Okay, I think dear all, thank you so much for attending this session. I am talking to all offline and online attenders, and I would like to thank also our expert Professor Shashi Nambisan. So for what an engaging session, like this all 5 days, and the most important aspect is that you all able to do it in hands-on rather than going through only like lectures. you are able to actually act with data, and the uniqueness is that you are able to choose the problem in your own. So data set, you can see the comprehensiveness of the data. So you basically use the same data, and all of you in teams come up with different problems and different solutions. So we'd like to thank Professor for doing this, and we would also like to welcome Professor Bharat and thank his team for supporting us throughout these 5 days with all logistics and support from the inception of basically writing this proposal. And so we'll start with the distribution of the certificates for this. So first we'll go through the online. So offline so online I will just mention. So online present attendants who are getting certificate are Mr. Anurag Tombre, Ms. Ashwarya BS, Mr. Tazim Amin, Mr. Tushar Sambarkar, Mr. Sayantan Mohanta, Ms. Shruti Singh, Mr. Pratyush Kumar, Mr. Ishfaq ul Abbas, Mr. Krishna Kishore M, Mr. Chandrika Prasad Verma, Mr. Ashwini Gupta. So thank you all the participants and congratulations for getting the certificate, online participant. Now we'll move to the offline participant. So I would request Professor Nambisan to distribute the certificate. So I will call the name. Please come front and receive the certificate from Professor Nambisan. तुम दे सकते हो एक-एक? हाँ, नाम बोलना। हाँ. So Mr. Rahul Narayan. S. Rohit. Mr. Surya. Then Upendra Yadav. Ritvik Kumar. अच्छा ठीक है हाँ
Akshay Banolia, Mr. Shayantan Das, Mr. Shubham, ये तो मेरा है, Mr. Vineet Kashyap, Mr. Satyam Kumar, Mr. Pawan Singh, Mr. Pritam Prakash Shah, Mr. Abhishek Kumar, Mr. Rajesh Kumar Chaudhary. Mr. Rizul Sood. Himanshu. Ishita Pragya. Mr. Daniel Dole. Mr. Anuj Bhaskar. Last कर दिया. Mr. Akshay S. Mr. Ashagre. Mr. Shivam Bhai Patel. Mr. Shashi Raj. मैं देता हूँ. Mr. Rohit Sahu.
Mr. Ritesh Kumar.
Okay. Now I would like to call Professor Nambisan to share his experience about this course. Okay.
Good afternoon. Once again, I'm delighted and honored to have been able to spend the last 4.5 days, 5 days with you all, getting to learn a little bit about you. I was very deliberate when I asked you to introduce yourselves, where you're from, and then wrap up also today with things that relate to your backgrounds. That helps me learn a little bit. Though I was born here in India, grew up here, I've spent more time outside of India than I've spent in India. So learning about the challenges that you all summarized today from where you grew up or where you're most familiar with gives me a different perspective than what I get when I'm traveling. And it was heartening also to hear from you what you picked up from the course as some of the strategies you might use to improve situations. So I was not joking when I said that consider yourself to be the Raja ya Rani, and hopefully in the coming years as you develop professionally, you will get to be in positions of leadership where you have the ability to bring about a difference. So think about these things and apply. You'll learn a lot more. This was just a snapshot. Okay? Consider the learning is lifelong. So stay engaged. And I'm also very, very appreciative to everybody at IIT Guwahati, starting with Dr. Bharadwaj and Professor Maurya for first almost 2 years ago when we started the discussions to put this program together, inviting me, hosting me here, and Ritesh for meeting me right at the airport and bringing me to the campus. And your beautiful campus here, for those of you who are from IIT Guwahati, I've enjoyed that, the warmth and the hospitality here. So I will cherish these memories. Okay? Thank you.
Wish you all the very, very best.
So thank you, Professor. Now I would request Professor Bharat to share his thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Bharadwaj. It was really wonderful to host this particular GIAN program, and the global expert, Professor Shashi, came all the way from Las Vegas to deliver lectures on traffic. And the GIAN program, first of all, the initiation of Government of India for leveraging the expertise of the global scientists to come to India and take lectures, either 5-day or 10-day, is really appreciable along with the host faculty, because most of us have this experience of attending conferences. We hardly get to meet an expert or spend time. But here we could get, you can get to spend time nearly for 5 days continuously. And when need not be a formal discussions. In an informal way also you can engage yourself with the faculty at IIT and also the global expert. There is some simply, really wonderful experience we all get to experience. And other thing, there is always a two-way, as he's rightly said, GIAN comes from all directions, right? So definitely there's a lot to learn from both ways, because our traffic scenarios are different. We don't have lane disciplines, and we have so much of heterogeneous traffic, starting from bullock carts. Even most of the cities, are rickshaw pullers, to you may have cars, everything going around with different speeds, and that experience we may not get when we go to abroad, right? So the lane discipline thing is very strictly followed there, but here we move from left to right, right to left, anywhere, So definitely this is important, and having such a heterogeneous or combination of this complexity involved, mathematically modeling is really, really challenging. And first of all, I don't know whether to get all the parameters included in a mathematical formulation or not. So there the data plays a very important role. And when you have large data sets, definitely the artificial intelligence, ML, such techniques would really help in understanding or bring out meaningful scenarios for a given situations. So that way this particular course I could see is a very important thing. And another aspect is these sessions have been recorded, can be accessed any given time. They're all up on YouTube. So this resource is very, very useful, and definitely we all thanked Government of India. And from the CET we have been doing these, organizing these kind of programs, starting from GIAN, NPTEL and many other initiatives that are going on for very long time, since 2002 onwards. And we are in GIAN 4th phase, and from IIT Guwahati 20 proposals have been submitted, and 15 have been accepted. 1 has been withdrawn, so 4 have not been sanctioned. So highly competitive, and you will understand the discussion that would have started 2 years ago, and slowly they build up the trust on each other, and delivering talks together seamlessly is something, that's the reason this has been funded. So definitely this is highly competitive, and I congratulate the entire team for seamlessly managing this particular course and bringing up this particular important issue, and whatever issues you might have found in the last 5 days, it could be related to the hostel accommodation or anything. I'll take the complete responsibility, although I was not present for most of the time here during last 5 days, but we tried our best, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope the discussions will be carried forward, and the networking will keep continuing, and some of you might join his labs, and that would be a very interesting thing to see. That will be beneficial for our IIT as well. And I hope he got some time to visit our labs also, our department also, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Bharat. So as we are reaching towards the end, so I would call Professor Maurya to give the vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Nipjyoti. So there was a day on Monday, like when we started. So now we are like standing towards the end of the concluding session of this program. So like 5 days has been like moved fast. So maybe during this time, like maybe you might have learned a variety of things, like, and maybe now India is like in kind of a situation where like we are going to get lot of data from through different sensors, cameras, like which have been installed through either smart city program or various initiative. So whatever learning you might have like in last 5 years, so you might be able to use it with our data set. So Professor Shashi is like were like generous enough to share real life data set with you people, and had like shown that how to utilize the data, how to get a useful pattern, how to get useful information, conclusion from a particular real life data set. So already like theory as well as the practical art tutorial has been taken place, so that like you are well versed with the fundamentals and as well as the applications. Now maybe subsequently, once this more and more data is available, although IRAD data is still not available in public domain, but it is available with, if you had good government licensing with the either local state government or maybe district level. But subsequently, we have been told maybe like once they resolve some of the issues, so may not be the current data, but past data will be available for the analysis. Apart from that, there are many other ways to get the data. Maybe like now you know that like what is the potential of the data. So once you know the potential, you can figure out some ways to get the data. So with this like remark, like maybe I will thank our foreign expert, Professor Shashi Nambisan, who like has accepted our invitation very quick from. So these are the technical lists. So always like, so they also don't want like I should speak too much. So okay. So I thank Professor Shashi like being present here for 5 days and delivering lectures on theory, covering theory as well as practical aspect. And I also thank Professor Bharat, like who has like generous enough to extend all the facility for us to have the smooth GIAN course during this entire week, and entire support team of the CET. Starting from like proposal submission till today, we are getting like all support from the CET side. Like even they are like taking all the pains of preparing banner and those things which were earlier not there. So that way, like there is a big round of like applause, like they deserve all the CET teams. And then last but not the least, our volunteers, like who has taken care most of the things from starting to till this point. So with this, then maybe like we can conclude this GIAN course, and hopefully whatever is learning you had, so maybe this you will continue, because this is like maybe in 5 days, although 5 days are long, but it's still like the GIAN is so unlimited. Maybe we are able to give only a certain part of it. So we had our effort is just to show the ways, because there are a lot of GIAN available now digitally. So now you can explore. So you know that what to explore, how to explore, where to explore. So now it's up to you to, like people who are interested in road safety area, they can go and start working on that. So with this, like maybe we can conclude this GIAN course and yeah, okay, feedback. Okay, so feedback online forms link has been already shared in WhatsApp group. So people who has not submitted, they can quickly submit this feedback form. And people who are online, they can also submit, because that feedback actually gives us like some ways like how we can improve in future. And maybe we can have a group photograph here. So people who are in online, if they can switch on their camera, that also we can capture them. Yeah, so maybe you can assemble here for a group photograph.
Thank you all very much. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And also I request everyone to please fill the feedback form. After high tea maybe. I request everyone to please fill the feedback form and then move for the high tea.